Hey everybody! Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to Two Vegans in a Van. My name is Baby Bear.
And I'm Jay Bird, and welcome to our home.
To learn more about us and what we do, check out twovegansinavan.com.
Thank you for viewing our video today. We will also be doing a live video once a week on Facebook, so if you think of any other questions or topics, feel free to put them in the comments section so we can address your questions in another video or blog.
Through our YouTube channel, we want to show you how to live the ultimate life of freedom and adventure. Even if you can't live this lifestyle right at this moment, that's totally fine. We hope from our channel you'll be able to gain a bunch of knowledge and tips on how to make your lifestyle healthier, more compassionate, more environmentally friendly. We're here to help you to create and live your ultimate dream just as we have created for ourselves. Therefore, through our channel, you can expect to find in-depth instructional guides for building out a fully livable adventure vehicle, information on hiking and living in the woods, knowledge on foraging amazing wild edibles, info on how to embrace a healthy, minimalist vegan lifestyle, and some videos on fitness, travel, and adventure.
Yes! Today we'd like to share with you why it's a great time to live in a van.
If you'd like to know why we chose van life, you can check out our post, Welcome to Our Lives, on our website. Again, that's twovegansinavan.com. One of the main reasons why we chose van life is it's cost effective. Your living expenses are cut down dramatically compared to if you're renting a home or an apartment, or if you're paying a mortgage on a home. Our personal living expenses, not including gas, food, and our phone bill, because those remain the same living in the van, and these are just some rough numbers to throw out there, but we were spending about $1,200 to $1,400 per month. Those were with our mortgage, our utilities, our electric, maintenance on the house. On an annual basis, that added up to somewhere between $14,500 to almost $17,000. And that didn't include any major repairs or renovations on the home, which seem to arise every time we turn the corner. Unfortunately, living in the van, we found that we can spend less than $10,000 for the initial investment. That's the van itself and the build. That's actually comparable to a down payment plus closing costs on a home, if not less if you're purchasing a home. Again, this does not include gas, food, or the phone bill. And living in the van, our cost of living is about $140 a month, and that equates to about $1,700 a year, rounded up to $2,000 a year total, compared to the $14,500 to $17,000 a year living in a home. Now, some of you might be thinking that a van, whether it's a Sprinter van or a cargo van, may be less efficient, economically speaking, than what you may be driving on a day-to-day basis, going to and from work, grocery store, or whatnot. And oftentimes that's the case. Before our van, we had a Subaru Forester. We were getting about 22 miles to the gallon. And right now, in our fully built camper van, fully loaded down, we get about 18 miles to the gallon on the highway. Most of our driving is highway driving. On an annual basis, that's really not a tremendous difference in cost. And again, since we are living in our van, the cost of living overall versus living in a home or an apartment is always substantially lower.
Another reason why it's a great time to live in a van is it's always a great time to be considering how you can continuously lower your carbon footprint. Simply put, less space equals less waste. It's easier to be zero waste and to be conscientious of recycling and upcycling belongings. Everything in the van is also multi-purpose. For example, our bed is also our bench seat. Traveling in the van, it's easy enough to find streams and other bodies of water to filter your water, and filtering water helps you take only what you need without purchasing plastics. All of our electricity needs comes from solar panels mounted on the top of our van's roof. And solar energy is a completely renewable and eco-friendly energy source. As you may already be aware, heating and cooling an entire house is not eco-friendly, but depending on your location, having air conditioning might be necessary to be comfortable. In the van, you can migrate based on climate, so no need to use air conditioning.
And these are just a few of the examples of why living in a van is much more eco-friendly than living in a house or an apartment.
Minimal living plus minimal expenses means minimal income. When you're living in a van and your expenses are cut down so much from living in a house or living in an apartment, you're living a minimalist lifestyle, you don't need to generate nearly as much income to cover your costs of living and to live comfortably as you did prior to living in a van. It's super easy to find a lot of remote jobs. There are so many apps nowadays for making money while you're on the road, and we'll go into greater detail on that in another video. It's super easy to park in a stealth location entirely for free. This of course depends on the type of van that you buy, whether it's a Sprinter or a small cargo van like what Junebug is here. And it also depends on your build. If you have solar panels and a fan sticking way up off the roof of the vehicle, super obvious, then people might kind of get the hint that maybe someone's living in the vehicle. The solar panels and the fan mounted on the top of Junebug are super sleek, super aerodynamic. Really, unless you know to look for solar panels on the top of a van, it doesn't look like anything more than perhaps just a work vehicle. So you can park on the street, it's not an extended cab, it's not a high roof, you can park pretty much anywhere, and it just looks like any other work vehicle, any other Chevy van. There's a million of them everywhere, and really no one is the wiser that you're living inside of it, especially when the windows are blacked out and you can't see that there are lights on the inside at night.
There's also 2 great apps that you can use to find stealth locations for parking, and those are freecampsites.net and iOverlander. Freecampsites.net is a great website, and then iOverlander is an app that you can download on your Android or iPhone. If the country should come into a state of crisis, you're not stuck in one place. So the world is crazy right now, as everybody knows, and there's oftentimes that, we wonder, we don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. And for living in a van, it's great to know that if you need to, you can just get up and go to a safer location or to where, you feel more comfortable.
So it may sound a little bit cliche to say this, but the more you own, the more owns you. And we experienced this to the truest. Right before we left for the Appalachian Trail, we were trying to downsize and get rid of as many of our belongings as possible. For the 6 months that we hiked on the Appalachian Trail, all that we lived off of is what we could fit into our packs and carry on our backs. And our packs weighed 30 to 35 pounds. About 15 pounds of that at any given time was food. So our base weight in our packs was really only about 12 pounds. And the base weight is the weight of everything you're carrying, not including your food or your water. So really all of our clothing, all of our survival gear, first aid kit, whatnot, that was only about 12 pounds, give or take a pound or two here and there. And moving into the van, you're moving into a space that is substantially smaller than a home or an apartment, or a house, I should say, rather, because this is our home. And so you really find that the fewer possessions you have, just the better off you are. The more liberating it is to have so few possessions. Everything in the van is multi-purpose. If it is something that is frivolous or superfluous, there's just simply not room in the van for it, and it's really just an awesome feeling.
Absolutely. You think about what you really need in life, and it's a really liberating feeling.
It sure is.
And finally, you can live extremely frugally off of bulk vegan foods and foraging. So that's something we learned on the Appalachian Trail, is how much food is available in the wild. We foraged mushrooms, edible greens, and many different species of berries. And it seems like everywhere we go, we're learning new wild edibles. And then, of course, buying bulk vegan foods. I like to use the website plantbasedonabudget.com to find lots of great recipes of very inexpensive foods. I also like to refer to Ellen Jaffe Jones' book, Eat Vegan on $4 a Day. And the great thing about cheap recipes are they're also really easy to make because they're minimal ingredients, they're healthy ingredients, and you can make them in the van.
Exactly. And a few of the foods that we buy in bulk regularly are lots of different types of grains. Like we'll buy rice, quinoa, we buy couscous, and we buy potatoes, and really any types of fruits and vegetables that we can keep in the van. We have a refrigerator so we can keep fruits from spoiling if the van starts to get hot during the day while we're out on an adventure. And all these foods are super inexpensive, especially when you buy them in bulk. And typically when you're purchasing whole foods in bulk, you're going to be eating much healthier anyway. You're going to be staying away from the processed foods and the prepackaged foods that tend to be more expensive and also tend to be less healthy for you. High in fat because they typically have a lot of oil in them, a lot of sodium generally. And so one of the sayings I like to share with people is, when you're young, you spend your health on your wealth, and when you're older, you spend your wealth on your health. And that's pretty straightforward, but essentially what that means is, when you're young and you're working really hard and you're trying to make a bunch of money, and you might not be super conscientious about what you're eating every day, or what time of the day you're eating, or how much you're eating, it can affect you negatively down the road, long term. And then down the road, you might be faced with medical bills from trying to make all that money that you're trying to make when you were younger. So if you focus on your health now, and don't let yourself get caught up in the hustle and eating, unhealthy processed foods when you're young, when you're older, you'll hopefully not have as many, or if any, medical expenses to try to cover.
For sure. And a great website for getting started on a whole food plant-based lifestyle is forksoverknives.com. We use a lot of the recipes from there. Again, very simple, easy recipes, and all of them are very nutritious and delicious.
So those are just a few examples of why van life is so awesome. Coming out of the woods after 6 months of hiking on the Appalachian Trail, we were quite overwhelmed returning to societal life, which is another reason why we're so grateful to be able to embrace van life. We have so much more to share with you about our journey, about all of the knowledge we learned along the way, and of all of our experiences on the trail. Please tell your friends and family about Two Vegans in a Van, and subscribe below to our channel if you haven't already.
We also have many time-lapse videos of the van build, many more adventure videos, and a whole lot more about living life in a van, living a vegan lifestyle. So whether or not your friends are interested in van life, please have them subscribe to learn more about a healthy vegan lifestyle and live the best possible life you all can imagine. Thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.